Sheriff Boehlert, good morning.
Steph, I'm so sorry about all that bad news.
Well, we're okay.
Everyone's okay.
Yeah. Hey, so, I'm wearing my impeach shirt just because, sure, let's start there. I mean, our friend Charlie Pierce said, not for nothing, but if the phone call the White House got a hold of, or excuse me, the Washington Post got a hold of between the president and Ratzenberger isn't an impeachable offense, then nothing is. Seth Abramson said, hey, fun fact, threatening an election official with criminal prosecution unless he rigs an election in your favor is not just impeachable, but a federal crime. Eric, it's hard to even put any of this into words anymore, isn't it?
It is. I mean, I was going to say it's the perfect end to his presidency, but there's still, 16 days left, so we don't know what he's going to do. It's just a quick point. Politico talked to the Georgia Secretary of State advisor and said, why'd you tape this? And he said, throwaway votes, we decided if we ever had a call, we should probably tape this.
Yeah.
So, Georgia Republicans know they're dealing with a criminal enterprise in the White House. And a lot of people have known that this White House is a criminal enterprise. Mm-hmm. It has been for 4 years. We do not hear that terminology in mainstream news coverage. He is. This is a coup. We don't hear that terminology. He is authoritarian. I think back to when this all started, a couple days after the election. We've talked about this. Politico said it was all performance art. We just got to let him blow off some steam. Politico also called it bad sportsmanship. CNN said Republicans had no choice but to play along because Trump controls the base. The press has been telling us over and over he would never try a coup. He would never try a coup. There was a great article in The Atlantic a couple weeks ago by a Turkish writer, and she explained there are different levels of coup. A coup isn't the military marching through the street. There is the soft coup. This has been a slow motion attempted coup. And just real quick, I saw the headlines for this call yesterday, real quick, and I click on the article, and my jaw dropped when the call was on Saturday.
Right.
I just immediately assumed this call was from middle of November, right? It was from Saturday. He's still doing this. He's threatening state officials. And just real quick, I just put up a story this morning at pressrun.media. And the nightmare scenario is, what happens if Democrats win both Georgia runoffs by, say, 3,000 votes? Does anybody think the Republican Party is going to say, oh, you just won control of the Senate. Here's the keys. Well done. Of course not.
Yeah.
They are going to try to steal those elections because the Republican Party is now on board with stealing elections. They do not acknowledge Republican losses. So I know a lot of people are breathing a sigh of relief because Trump went 0 for 60 and he's a buffoon and he couldn't successfully launch this coup. But I'm nervous about Georgia, and if Democrats win by a small margin, there's no way we're not going to see a repeat of this, and the entire Republican Party will go all in. And will those Georgia officials who stood up to tyranny have the willpower to say, okay, we're going to do this again. My family's going to be threatened. I'm going to get death threats. I'm willing to do this again to defend these two elections, and I'm nervous they just won't have the fortitude.
Yeah. And, speaking of lawsuits, so, now that you wonder, like, this call could not be more damning, Eric. And you're like, what's the spin? It's like, oh, Trump's going to sue him for releasing the recording. And what's disgusting is him releasing the recording. Well, first of all, that will be dismissed because in Georgia, as you know, the rule is one party does have the right to record. And obviously, when you know someone is going to try to involve you in a crime and is going to lie about it, of course you record it. Oh, my God, and I love this that Trump said it was a confidential settlement discussion. He claimed the conversation was about pending legislation in the state.
Oh.
I mean, he just lies about the lies, and it's...
I saw some of the early Fox spin yesterday on this. Well, this proves he's a fighter, right? He's willing to fight. I guess you could say Richard Nixon was a fighter. This puts Richard Nixon to shame. And it's stunning that remember what was that Susan Collins quote after impeachment? Oh, Trump, learned his lesson from all.
Yeah,
right.
Look, I said it yesterday, on Twitter. We have had a sociopath as president for 4 years, and every newsroom in America was too afraid to say so.
Yeah. I mean, Eric, I said that when you listen to the call, beyond everything else, this is a crazy person.
Yes.
I mean, it's
insane.
And this tweet you retweeted. Peter Navarro says Pence has the authority to give them a 10-day window, and also says the inauguration date can be rescheduled. As you say, also unicorns. I mean, and it's all treated as a valued opinion in the both sides circus, right?
I think the press is losing a bit of a patience. We can talk about your friend Chuck Todd yesterday.
I was just going to say, I was just about to hold up 18 to Sean. I'm like, oh my God, when Chuck Todd gets startled into doing journalism, you know that we've hit some sort of wormhole in the universe. Let's listen to this with Ron Johnson.
Let me ask you this. Then why didn't you hold hearings about the 9/11 truthers? There's plenty of people who thought 9/11 was an inside job. So what you're basically saying is that there's enough people who believe in conspiracy theory. If there's enough people who hold,
figure was the most relevant issue.
You're going to do. How about the moon landing?
Obviously,
are you going to hold hearings on that?
Yeah, and one more, Ron Johnson, traitor.
We have this election. We've got tens of millions of Americans that think this election was stolen. We need to get to the bottom of it. Again, what's explained, we need to explain it, get that off the table. But we also have to acknowledge there were some real problems here. There's some issues that need to be explored and investigated.
You got to ask yourself, when you tell people a million times that something was stolen or something was fraud, and then they believe it, I think you need to look in the mirror and ask yourself why so many people believe
Chuck, you need to look at your mirror. And
Senator Johnson, I've got to go. I appreciate you coming on.
Collusion with the Trump campaign hoax. That is what you did in the media. You carried that water for years. You destroyed the credibility of the press.
Senator Johnson.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
I mean, Eric, it's just that he's exactly right, though, right? It's like you said, oh, there's fraud, and then when there's millions of people that want to know why there's fraud, it's because you said it's based on nothing, right?
Yeah, when they lose 60 lawsuits, their only fallback position is, well, some people say. I mean, this is literally like, a comment thread. Well, somebody says. So they're relying on this idea that they have convinced tens of millions of people that there was fraud. Therefore, I mean, it's astonishing. Trump's going to leave office. There's going to be 400,000 dead Americans from COVID. There's not a single Republican that wants to set up a blue panel ribbon or commission to examine one of the greatest public health crisis failures in this country, certainly in the last century. But they want to do this fraud stuff. Look, I think the larger point for the press is, how do you deal with these Ron Johnsons? Yes, Chuck Todd, for moments confronted him, but he also let Ron Johnson talk for 5 or 9 minutes. Do you even invite these people, the 11 senators, the 100+ members of the House? Do you even invite them on television to legitimize their crackpot theories, their seditious truths?
Yeah, thank you. Sedition. There's no other word. And by the way, you included the Washington Post headline: homes of Pelosi and McConnell are vandalized after Senate fails to pass $2,000 stimulus checks. You said this is what both sides' coverage of COVID relief produces. There was a dead pig's head. Let me get this straight. Nancy Pelosi woke up Friday morning to find her home vandalized by a confused voter. Of course, she's been calling for the $2,000 check since the beginning. Someone spray painted her garage door, and put a red paint was spilled over the driveway. A severed pig's head was atop the fake blood. I mean, and meanwhile, they're talking about switching Secret Service agents over worries about these Trump loyalists in the Secret Service. And he's inciting violence this Wednesday in Washington. This is just really troubling time and week, isn't it?
It is. And we've talked about it 100 times, the frog in the boiling water. Obviously I focus on the press, but the press has told us to calm down for 4 years. It's not that bad. He's just eccentric. Like I said, he's just got to blow off steam. He's kind of an egomaniac. That's part of the deal. They just refused to come to, and we were told, well, it's just Trump, right? Once Trump leaves, the Republican Party will go back to normal. These are honorable men. They're mostly men. These are serious people that want to help solve the. I mean, when 100 House members signed off on that Texas lawsuit, and then now we're going to challenge the electorate. It just completely obliterates that narrative the press has been pushing about the GOP, and they're really mainstream people.
Yeah, and if there is any other word than full-on sedition used this week, they're not doing it right. Eric, I needed you more than ever this Monday. Thank you for being here.
Be good. Okay.
Thanks, honey.
All right.
Okay.
Bye, Eric. Thanks.
See, it's too late to say be safe, but he said be good. Okay.